breaking developments coming in, they are important enough to reflect. They're important enough to reflect. I have just been told that Marco Rubio, just seconds ago, has spoken once again with officials both in New Delhi and Islamabad. More information breaking at the bottom of your screens that the Saudi Deputy Foreign Minister Al Jubair has now arrived in Islamabad. He is meeting with Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif. Why is this relevant? Well, because a few hours ago, he was actually in Delhi. Now, I will not be surprised that if this information is a couple of hours out of date, that the bombardier that is taking off from Rawalpindi and heading towards Riyadh is probably his aircraft. He's met with them and he's heading back home. I won't be surprised, or it might be somebody part of his delegation. I'm only speculating, but that bombardier arrived in Rawalpindi and then it took off at about 9:30 local time in Rawalpindi and is currently near the Afpak border heading towards Riyadh. Sanjeev ji wants to make a counterpoint. Quickly make it before I go to the others.
Yes, I think another point I would like to make that this is the a testing time for India, United States of America strategic partnership too. And we have been saying about it that this partnership is based on our shared commitment, shared values, interest, opportunities, challenges. These are challenging times. And if the United States of America's leadership is listening, then I think it's their time also to step up and come up with such kind of policy towards Pakistan that deals with this menace of terrorism effectively and efficiently. And India and the United States of America, I have been, if you look at the various joint statements, various policy pronouncements, every time they say that they will work towards
images on your screen, images on your screen of what looks like, are these the latest images? Is this a brand new photograph? Yes, it is. It is. This is the latest. This is Shehbaz Sharif meeting with the Saudi delegation. The man on his immediate right, seated on the sofa, is the Saudi Deputy Foreign Minister. That Pratikrit answers our question. Now we know who is on board that bombardier heading back to Riyadh. That is most probably the Saudi delegation that is now returning. And I promise you, flight radar tells you how many people are tracking this flight. It's a 17-seater flight that is being tracked by 6,000 people globally are monitoring this flight. 6,000 people are now monitoring this flight, which has only a seating capacity of 17. Patikrit, lots of developments to absorb. Let's pick these up. So, the Saudi FM has met with Shehbaz Sharif in the course of the last couple of hours. We know that if he left at 9:30, then he met them late evening Pakistan time. We know that Marco Rubio has now spoken both with Delhi and Islamabad. And amidst this, of course, the Americans have let the IMF send more money to Pakistan. How are you assessing what's going on now?
So, Rishabh, as I stated that, there are countries which are playing their cards. Some of those cards are not, presumably in favor of us. But I think enough is enough. We have known it for far too long that the Americans' war on so-called terror has only been about Al-Qaeda. It has never been about terrorism in a whole. And the double standards are known pretty well. I think Saudi Arab itself is a country which has banned organizations like Tablighi Jamaat and has been extremely ruthless against Muslim Brotherhood and other organizations like Hamas. So I think the Saudis has been told what are the red lines that Pakistan has crossed time and again. I don't think the Saudis are in a position to stop the war or prevent India from taking action. There will be pressure on India, Rishabh. There will be pressure from the Americans because the Americans somehow will play two things. First, they will try to, say that let's diffuse. That diffusion doesn't mean anything if tomorrow the same kind of a Pahalgam terror attacks happen again. So I think in spite of all the pressure, India will have to go ahead and do whatever the necessary thing is, whatever is necessary. What the Pakistanis have done second night in a row, has to have a response from India which is disproportionate, which is not proportionate. Because unless you raise the bar of consequence on what they have done, it will be repeated. I just want to add one more thing, Rishabh, with your permission. The Pakistanis try to have overwhelming drones being shot towards us on the presumption that it will have tremendous impact on our air defense system. What is being used right now are primarily Strela, Shilka, Tungushka, L-70, L-60, all these air defense guns have been upgraded in the last few years with electro-optical fire control system to convert them into counter unmanned aerial systems. And this is a classic example of Atmanirbhar Bharat. S-400s are only used for high-value targets if a tactical cruise missile, ballistic missile, or a fighter jet comes in. Most of the rounds that you see are being used are from those which have been modernized in India by organizations like Zen Technology and Bharat Electricals Limited. It is a grand display of what in an Akash Tir, which is the nerve center of India's air defense.
Okay, let me get Mr. Dhillon in on this. Mr. Dhillon, I mean, just as now, as a citizen of India, you're getting the information of the IMF. Let me absorb that with you. What is your gut reaction?
I think it's very sorry to say that it is very painful, disturbing, and we need to look into it, the whole gamut, what has happened there. I am sure Government of India and the stakeholders will look into it. But as it appears to me, this is a setback, and we need to be careful as to who is our friend and who not. But at the same time, I still feel that I am still not worried about what is happening with financial matters. I'm only worried about the attacks, the retaliation, and how to take it as a military action. Let us not bother about what they are doing, what is happening on financial side. I know that Pakistan is in their need of money, and they should not have been allowed by, of course, our dear friend America, Mr. Trump. Whatever you talk, they will call it stick and carrot policy, but I don't think we need to believe it. We need to go for action, and we have been waiting for it. And let us proceed with what they are trying to do in civilian areas. Why? Is it that after getting money for fighting war, they want to push into a
I'm
civilian area?
sorry, but I reserve the right to interpret it as such, that you have just been paid $2.3 billion by the Americans, not the Chinese. The Chinese can extend other loan facilities, which they do, in which they charge interest and take the money back as well. In fact, the IMF in the past, including the World Bank, have put caveats in their loan and loan facilities extended to Pakistan, pointing out that you cannot use this money to pay back the Chinese. So the Chinese could have given money to Pakistan directly. The Saudis also give money to Pakistan directly. The Emiratis have also in the past billions of dollars. Okay, they have a new mechanism that they simply transfer the funds into the Pakistani national banks and leave it there for some reasonable rate of interest, because Pakistan is a great place to open a fixed deposit apparently. But they do, fair enough, but let's call a spade a spade. The Chinese have influence, but they do not have the preponderant influence in the IMF. That lies elsewhere in what is a Bretton Woods dominated structured system. All right, let me take up the latest developments with Professor Nalapat. Professor Nalapat, so here we have it. Our Prime Minister has met